Well, good morning. Don't know if the sun's going to be out today. They're talking about rain. Well, I've got my coffee. Good coffee. Set it on my hot plate. Stays hot because I don't guzzle it, and I like my coffee hot. Okay. My nose started itch. Well, the title today is Taking Care of Dad. Now, I love my dad. He was there for me growing up. I've got some wonderful memories. And he never discouraged me from anything I wanted to do. I remember when my dad built a boat, and us kids would help, okay? And this was something he wanted to do, and he did it. And he took us out on a ride. We enjoyed the boat. Well, he would take my brother and nephews, brother-in-laws out on this boat to go fishing. But he wouldn't take me. And I just don't think it occurred to him. And I would bug him and bug him. Can I go fishing? Can I go fishing? I wanted to go fishing. And finally he said, well, the thing is, when we have to use the bathroom, we just whip it over the side of the boat. Now, people, this was a good many years ago. Okay, things are different now. And and I said to him, but I can hold it. I can hold it for that long. And he said, okay, we'll try it. And he took me fishing. I had a blast. And he took me fishing a couple times. I mean, it wasn't like a big part of our lives. And at one point, he ended up selling the boat. I don't remember why, but he did. He sold the boat. But from that point on, he never discouraged me or held me back because of my gender. Okay, let's try and stay on topic about my dad. Now, many years later, he's 82 years old. He has not really taken good care of himself when left to his own devices. He's a little bit stubborn, a little bit, more than a little bit opinionated. I guess we all get that way when we get old. You know, we've lived life, and we pretty much figure we have it figured out, and nothing phases us. It's like, oh well. And he was one where his mother took care of him until the day he was married. And then my mother took care of him. And yes, that's what she did. She took care of him. She made sure he ate right. She made sure that all his needs were taken care of. All he had to do was go to work, bring home a paycheck. And he did. And he did that very well. Now, as a father, from my perspective, I thought he was great. Okay. Yeah, he worked a lot. And later in life, he had to work away from home. But it was rare that he did not have a job. He was working. And at one point, he had more than one job so that he could support the family. He's a very giving man. He was more than willing to give what he had. So that's kind of where I get who I am. My mother passed away about 10 years ago. Okay. And he had a relationship with another woman that took advantage of him. And that did not end well. Gold diggers come in all ages. We never his children never tried to tell him how to run his life or anything like that. It's like he was an adult. He made his own decisions. Oh my word, I'm seeing a bear getting into a car on the TV. Talk about a commercial for that line. Oh no, it's a commercial. I better turn this TV off. I get distracted so easy. Okay. Yeah, so he was on his own. And he was never very good at handling his money. My mother always did it. And they complemented themselves very well. And there's no doubt in my mind whatsoever that they loved each other. Did they have arguments? Did they have fights? Yeah, they did. But there's no doubt whatsoever in my mind that they loved each other. Now, fast forward to today. He has health issues. Some of them come from him not taking care of himself when he was by himself. He ate whatever he wanted, whenever he wanted. It's like, and he didn't exercise. He didn't move. He would just sit. Okay. What they say is, if you don't use it, you lose it. Which is one of the reasons why I move as much as I do. Constantly, I usually can't sit for more than like 15 minutes before I'm up doing something. This is the longest that you can that I sit for any length of time is when I do these live streams. So he needs to be taken care of. He has some dementia going on. And he's got some his lungs are compromised a little bit. Not from smoking. He quit smoking back when I was very little. it's from his work environment over the years. Things have changed now than things were different way back then. Okay. And I am not a nurse or doctor or anything like that. I'm not up on the medical stuff. Don't pay attention to blood pressure numbers or other kinds of numbers. None of that stuff. It is what it is. Now that I have to take care of my dad, I have to monitor his sugars. Thankfully, my husband is willing to do that. He does that in the morning, and he does his the meter where they test the sugar level in his blood, glucose level, whatever. and he gives him his insulin. And anyways, I just had a pop up. Somebody was on one of my videos. So he has to take care of his sugar, and he's been complaining about breathing problems, and I'm just not sure how things are going with that. And I had no way of checking his oxygen saturation. So Sunday, he had complained about not being able to get his breath. Okay. I took him. He seemed fine. Okay. He wasn't stressed. I didn't see a problem with his color or anything like that. So I went and I did what I had to do. My son was here. Well, I didn't realize he wasn't sticking around, and he left. So my dad was here by himself. So my son comes home to give him his lunch, and he was up in bed. And he asked my son, "Good morning, Dizzy. How you doing this morning? I saw you were on one of my videos. I'm talking about taking care of Dad this morning." So, and he was disoriented. He was confused as to why he was in bed, and he asked my son if he knew why he was in bed, and while he was laying there. And my son about freaked out. He didn't know what to tell his grandfather, and so he called me. I said, "Okay, I'm just putting honey away, and I'll be home." So I was thinking maybe there was a problem with his oxygen levels. So when I got home, he was downstairs, and he was again complaining about not being able to get his breath. But he had just come down the stairs, and I do notice he breathes harder when he goes up or down the stairs. And he used to go up, do his business because the bathroom's on the second floor, and then come back down. For the last little while, he's been going up, does what he needs to do, then he lays on his bed for a little bit. That extra exertion is more difficult for him. It's getting harder for him to use the stairs. Now, because he seemed a little bit more distressed about his breathing, I figured, you know what, just be safe rather than sorry. I took him to the ER down at the VA. Now, they checked him out. We got there about 6:30. We got home about 1 o'clock in the morning. Oh, but they checked him out, and I saw immediately when they put the thing on his finger that his oxygen absorption level was really good. So I was relieved. I figured, okay, good. It's fine. We'll be out of here probably in about an hour. And it's like, it took so long. I don't know why it took so long. Well, I know why. She said because everybody came at once. When we got there, we were the only ones there. I guess a bunch of people came in after us. So it took longer. But anyway, after that experience, and I talked to the doctor in the ER about it, apparently, and I didn't know this, you can get one of those things that go in the finger that they use to check your oxygen level and also checks your pulse rate. You can get one of those for home use. I didn't know. So when I got up Monday morning, I ordered one from Amazon, and it is coming. It should be delivered today. So now when he starts complaining about not being able to get his breath, I can pop that on his finger and I can monitor his oxygen absorption rate, or however it is, whatever the right term is. It's like, if I had known about that thing before, and I had mentioned it to somebody, that I had no means at home to check for oxygen absorption rate. I didn't know I could get one for home use without having to get some kind of a prescription or something from the doctor. I didn't know. So that's coming. So we'll have that in hand. So if you're, there's something that is probably a good thing to have. And they make one for pediatrics as well, for children. Did you know that? I didn't know that. So, I mean, if you're going to be taking care of an elderly parent, that's something that's good to have. Yes, Mittens, I'm being stared down by my cat. She says, "Are you crazy, woman? Talking to yourself?" Dizzy? No comment. And I start looking, okay, is there... Yeah, I know. So I'm learning a lot about this. Another issue that we've had is my father walks with a cane. And the more he moves, exerts himself, the heavier his breathing. And that could be a good thing because it's kind of exercise, but at the same time, it gets him to a point where it's beyond what he can handle. So when I'm at the VA, I use a wheelchair to get him around because there's a lot of walking around in the VA. So I just use a wheelchair. It's easier. When he first came to live with me, I tried doing it, just having him walk, and it was really hard on him. So then it's like, okay, I'm just going to use a wheelchair, and it's much easier. He's less stressed, less wore out. Excuse me. By the time we get home, so now what I'm looking at is I'm looking at a wheelchair that I can have in my vehicle for him, because I don't take him anywhere. Because even though I have the handicap tag for my vehicle, that it's person specific, it's not for the vehicle, it's for the person. Even though I have that and I can park in a handicapped spot, you still have to walk a distance for most places. It dawned on me when we made that trip to Kentucky and I pulled into a rest stop and I pulled into a handicapped spot, which is as close as I could get to where the bathrooms were. I'm looking at that walkway. It's like, that's quite a walk for him. Thankfully, he doesn't have incontinence issues. But, and he was able to hold it until we got to a restaurant. And even that was stressful for him because he's walking with a cane. And it's still, even though I parked as close to the door as I could, by the time you get out of the vehicle, walk to the door, walk into the business, find your seat, that's a lot. People don't realize it. So this is what I'm looking at, is getting a wheelchair that I can have, and I can get one on Amazon for under $100. Now, I don't know if I want to pay that low price. I got to be careful. I got to read the reviews because I don't want a wheelchair that's going to break under his weight. He fluctuates right around 200 pounds. Okay. And he was, a tall man. So that's not a bad weight for him. He either goes just a little bit under or just a little bit over, but right around 200. So I got to make sure that the wheelchair can handle it. And I also make sure that I can handle the wheelchair. That's not so heavy that I can't handle it, or anybody else for that matter. So I can then take him shopping for clothes. He really could stand some new jeans, but I'm not sure because the tags inside his jeans are faded, so I can't read the size. So I'm not real sure on the size. Shirts, yeah, I can get those, but pants, shoes, he has to try shoes on. And that's been an issue because he's been getting sores on his feet. Diabetic, that's not good. So he's got an appointment with podiatry tomorrow, thankfully. And I'm going to talk, okay, we got to do something about the shoes. We got to get new shoes. They make shoes specifically for diabetics that have a little bit more room in them. Okay. So that's what I'm pushing for tomorrow is the shoes. Now, here's the rub. I don't know if we can get the shoes in time before we move. Yes, Angel, come on. There must be something outside. Hopefully my mouse is all right. Yeah. Because we're moving in, can you believe it, 6.5 weeks? Talk about panic mode. So I'm going to see if they're guaranteed to get here before we move, then we should be good. But I'm definitely going to be talking about shoes from tomorrow. You should have seen his toes when we got down in Kentucky. He had his toes are kind of like a hammer toe, and they're rubbing on the top of the shoe and creating sores. That's not good for a diabetic. Thankfully, when they check, make sure he's got good circulation. Electric wheelchairs at most stores until you get one. Yeah, but you still have, well, I'm not sure how he'd do with that. He might be okay. I'm not sure. But it's getting him from the vehicle to the building. I guess I can always go and get it, bring it to him. But they don't all have them. As far as I know, they don't all have them. I know they don't have them at the library. That's one place I like to take him. And take him to a shoe store. I don't know. And he doesn't like going grocery shopping, and I can't blame him. I don't like going grocery shopping either. So I know that's not going to be an issue. But if we wanted to go out to eat, restaurants don't have them. So, that's another issue. It's just easier, less stress for him to have the wheelchair, not for using all the time. Short walks he's okay with, okay? And it's good for him to walk short distances. Like he could probably get up and go to the bathroom. Well, he does. He would have to get up anyway. But the longer distances that he has to go, where he can't sit and wait and rest for a minute, that's where it's a problem. And sometimes you don't really necessarily think about this until you have to deal with it. I've learned a lot since having my dad in my home, but I am really looking forward to moving down to Kentucky where we won't have the stairs. We're getting a cabin that's a 2-story, but he won't have to be on the second floor because I'm going to put a bedroom for him right on ground floor. And I'm going to have it set up so that there's no real stairs. There might be one stair getting in. But when I can get a ramp built, I will. But the way I'm going to have it, there's going to be room for this. So it's not going to be a problem for him. As he can do it now, but for how much longer? I don't know. Yeah, but a motorized one is more money. And you were independent. I'm sorry, the comments don't follow this live stream. I don't know how people get it to do. Dizzy's saying, speaking from experience, a motorized one is better than a push one. After my accident, I needed one any place we had to walk, and the push one made me feel like I had all my independence taken away. And then she says, of course, if I was in a motorized one, I wanted to race other people in them. Yeah, I can believe that with you. She could never get anyone to take me up on it. Yeah. I said, my sister has MS. She has a motorized one. Okay. And she does good. But my dad, I mean, he can do put his feet down and creep it along. I've seen people do that. And he can do the, the big wheels. He can do those. But he doesn't have a problem. I don't know what's outside, but it's driving Angel's nuts. Yeah, I don't know. He doesn't seem to be bothered by me pushing him. But that's my dad. Okay. He's used to being taken care of. So that's what it is. So the move to Kentucky, I think, is going to be good for him. It's going to be cleaner air, for one thing, for his lungs. That will be helpful. And there won't be stairs. I've got about 4 or 5, maybe 6 stairs to get into my house. If we use the back door, there's a long walkway from where the cars park to the back door. In the front, I park on the street, so there's a walkway, not as long as in the back, to go from the street to the house, then up the stairs. He's managing to do that. Dizzy says, it's not like you live near a refinery or anything now. Your air is fine. Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah. New Jersey is full of pollution. Even though they've cleaned it up a lot over the years, and it's not nearly as bad as it was when I was little. But still, every now and then, if the wind changes the wrong way, we get it. As a matter of fact, I got paint peeling on my truck. I'm not happy about it. And it's from where I live. I'm sure of it. So, but things should be better. So Dizzy, you're going to come down and help me build a run-in down in Kentucky? People, I am looking so forward to moving to Kentucky. The freedom. That's the big thing. People don't realize. It's like, she says, wishful thinking. Yeah, right. You've got experience doing it. You're good. New Jersey is very heavily regulated. Like what we are planning to do, you couldn't do that up here. Absolutely not. When the cabin is set up on the property and the electric is hooked up, we will be moving in. Okay? And we will be living in it while we finish it. So long as I have air conditioning for my dad, then we're good. Okay? So that would never fly in New Jersey. Oh no, you have to have everything done before you are allowed to move in. You can't even so much as live in a camper on your own property. while you're building, which other states, okay, you can do that for a short term, but not in New Jersey. You can't. At least I haven't found a community yet where you can get away with that. So, but down there, yep. So we're renting the same Airbnb that we stayed in while we were down there. My dad really liked it. He said it was comfortable. It was a nice little house. And he had asked if we could stay there while we get the cabin ready. And I said, yeah, well, if it's available, yeah, we can. So I checked as soon as I knew, had a date for moving. I checked to see if it was available, and it was. So I went ahead and I booked it for a little bit better than a week. That should give us time to get everything set up. I just got a number for an electrician down there last night, so I got to call them today and see if I can set it up so he can get it done as quickly as possible. And once I have our living space to where my father is comfortable and it's safe, then I will work on, I'm thinking a pole barn is what I'm going to do. I was going to get one of those run-ins and maybe a carport and then get fencing. And I'm like, you know what? I think I can build a pole barn. I've got plans. I did a SketchUp plan. It's on my computer. A design of a pole barn where the backside, it's on a hill. I designed it for a hill. It's like, okay, all I was doing was just playing around with SketchUp, trying to figure out how to use it. And so I came up with this design for a pole barn where it's on a hill, and there's hay storage in there, a feed room. I don't need a lot of space for a feed room because Honey doesn't eat much. Well, if I have anything to say about it, she doesn't. But it has room for hay storage. And then the bottom part, it's lower. That's the run-in. It's like, that would work. So there are Amish people around down there. I can either get an estimate to see if they can build it for me, or I can build it. It'll take longer if I do it by myself. I can tell you that right now. But that's a possibility. And there's also the there was some kind of an old barn or shed or something on the property. I did not walk back to it, but there's still debris. Yes, I would need someone for the roof. Well, guess what, Dizzy? You're planning on coming down to visit me in October, right? She knows I have a problem with heights. So, but there was, from what I could tell of the aerial, there is some roofing tin. Now, I don't know if it's usable. I don't know how bad a shape it's in. Oh, I've got trees. Honey will have shelter. We can finish it when, after she's there. Hey, how long would it take you to put a roof on? Besides, if everything works out, I think I'm going to have her up there. I'm hoping by the end of August, 1st of September. That's what I'm hoping for. Because the biggest deal is to get the fence up. Once I have a secure fence for her, I can go ahead and I can have her sent up. But we'll see. One thing at a time. First priority is to get the cabin to the point where my father is comfortable. That's my first priority. And then Honey is second. So Yeah, so I have the plans. It's just a matter of getting it done. Okay. And if I have the material, any materials at all already on the property, I'll reuse them. You know, I don't need the Taj Mahal. I just need someplace to store hay because winter's coming and I need shelter for honey because winter's coming. Oh, by the way, I checked the extended forecast for the area that I'm moving to. And the temperatures, with the exception of this coming week, just like us, we've got a couple days that are flirting with the 90s. They're flirting with the 90s this weekend. And then everything from here on, 70s and 80s. 70s and 80s. I'm loving it. But I don't know. Of course, we all know that the extended forecast never seem to stay true. They always change. Yeah, you could handle it. So my father asked me, this is another thing with my dad, okay, is that he does have a little bit of dementia. And he's constantly asking me, how many acres? Oh, your laundry will wait. Besides, you don't do the laundry. The wash machine does the laundry. Yeah. So he's constantly asking me, how many acres? How many acres? And I tell him how many acres. He says, that might be about enough. You mean to tell me you haven't got your clothes trained to jump into the washing machine by themselves yet? What's wrong with you, Dizzy? So at the it's just some people get frustrated with someone having to ask over and over and over again information that you've given them repeatedly. But I just pretend as if it's the first time he's asked. He remembers we're going to Kentucky. He does remember that. And he remembers some things better than others. Okay, like the number of acres, that it's not something he sees, it's not something he feels. So he's only hearing it. Okay. So the retention's not going to be as good as if he felt it and he experienced it. Like the house in Kentucky that we the Airbnb, he remembers it. Okay. But he lived there for a week and he experienced it. He slept there, he ate there, you know, he walked around it. Okay. He was there physically. All of his senses were involved in that experience. So he's going to retain that a little bit better. He remembers the hostess as being very nice. I don't know if he would remember her face very well because he only saw her the one time when we got there. She was awesome, by the way. And, but just verbal information that has no tactile interaction, he's not going to remember as well. He doesn't even know my address here. Okay. And I don't know if he will know his address when we get down there. I mean, I can tell him, but an address is not really something that you can experience. It's just information, a label. It's not, it's not something that you can taste, smell, feel. Okay. So you don't have anything to reinforce that memory. Now, that's from my perspective. Okay. I'm not a professional. I'm not a psychiatrist, psychologist, or any kind of expert at all in that area. But this is from what my observations from caring for my father, is that the anything that he feels, that he experiences, he tends to retain better than just verbal information. Okay. So I just tell him again. Just tell him again. It makes him happy. And that's what I want to do, is make him happy. If seems like he's starting to be a little depressed. I mean, let's face it, people. He's sitting there day after day. He has his books that he reads. Well, since cataract surgery, he doesn't do as well with that. He's doing better with it now, but right after it, oh, it was very stressful for him. And he also has a laptop computer. He begged me to order one for him, so I did. It was his money. I figured his money, but I got my son to find one that would do what he would need to do, but at the same time not be exorbitant. Coffee's almost gone. So that means the live stream's almost done. So what I do is I get the kind of movies that he likes on YouTube. There's some old movies that they show for free on YouTube. So I'll set him up with that. Of course, the thing is, like, granted, he used to use computers all the time with work, and he had one at home. But the last 5 years or so, they've changed, and it's gotten more complicated. Like, for instance, the tabs, he'll have a pop-up ad come up, and he'll hit the exits on the right-hand side. Well, that will close the whole thing, including the movie he's watching. So he hasn't quite gotten that. You got to go up. Where's my finger at? You've got to go up here on this side to click the tabs up there. Okay, I've told him, but he doesn't get it. So I told him, just if you have a problem, call me, and I'll clear it for you. Because a couple times, and it frustrates him because he didn't want to do that. He wants to watch the movie. He doesn't want these things popping up. So I think that what I'm going to do, I might see about getting YouTube Red for him, because then he won't have the pop-up ads. Sorry about that. Excuse me. So, or there's got to be something so he can watch a movie without having to worry about that. I'll probably get my son to set it up for him, so that got to give him something to do, right? So we don't have that issue. I think YouTube Red is like $10 a month or something like that. I think we can handle that. So, and then, so that's all he does here at home. He sits in a rocking chair, either reads a book or he watches a movie. Doesn't do anything else. There's nothing to do. I'm sorry, but there's just nothing to do. I mean, we're packing, and he really can't help with that anymore. He can't move boxes around anymore. So, so there's not much for him to do right now. When we get moved down to Kentucky, if he's feeling up to it, I'm hoping maybe I can get him involved in some other things. I want to have the pasture set up so that the horses can come up to the front porch, and maybe my dad can feed him a carrot. So at least he feels like he's doing something. Okay? That's how I want to design it. I'll have a better idea once I get there. I've been watching my video of the land over and over again. Yeah, I'll admit it. Okay, I'm watching my own video over and over again. But I think you can understand why I'm doing that. But I'm also, while I'm doing, I'm thinking, okay, where am I going to put this? I got the slope of the land. I want to use the land, the best way possible. Now, I do want to have a garden. I want to grow my own vegetables and stuff. So I've got to think about that. But at the same time, I really want to see the horses in front of me. I want to be able to view them, see them. I want my father to be able to enjoy them. So I got plenty of pasture that I can use. So I want to do rotational grazing. So I want to be able to have it so that they can come in front of the house so my dad can see them. I don't want them to have their dry lot there. I'm going to have a dry lot, probably over by the run-in is where the dry lot's going to be. Okay. Because there's going to be times I need to pull honey off the grass. Having the accessibility to the horses for my father, I think, will bring him pleasure. And that's what I want. I want him to be happy. And I know he enjoys the horses. He had a job as a young man checking fence lines on horseback down in Texas. And he always talks about it. He lived on the back of a horse for a while. As a matter of fact, he used to tell me, once you ride a Tennessee walking horse, you'll never ride another one. Well, yeah, but he never met honey. That's another thing about Kentucky. There's a lot of Tennessee walkers down there. So I would love to get my dad back on a horse again, but I don't know if that will happen. I'm just not sure. His health, his heart, his lungs, they all say when he gets checked, he's doing good, he's doing good, he's doing good. Okay. Where he's not doing so good is his mobility. And part of that is he doesn't see the sense in doing exercises. I think it's just the generation he comes from. I don't know. So hopefully he'll have a little bit more motivation when we get down there. He talks about walking the property. Well, he can't walk the property right now. There's just no way. He's not steady. He needs a cane. And even with a cane, there are times he's not as steady. Now, maybe once we get him some better shoes, maybe he'll be more steady. I don't know. But walking the property, I can't see him doing it. But he can see the property. That's the wonderful thing about this property, is that it's open all around where the house is going to be. And he can see. He'll put his glasses on and he'll be able to see the view. And I think that's going to make a world of difference. It sure beats watching cars going up and down the road. And with the horses there, that's just going to add. Now, additional livestock, I don't know. I'm thinking about a beef steer, raising our own beef steer. I'm thinking about dairy goats. Nothing's concrete yet, because there's a lot I have to think about. Aside from chickens and honey and whatever her companion happens to be, that will be the only thing definite at this point. And I'm not going to get chickens until I have some place to put them. what I want, something decent to put them. Okay. The other livestock I'm not rushing into. There's a lot involved in setting up a homestead, and you just can't do it all at once. There's just no way, unless you can pay buku bucks to have someone come in and lay it out for you and put up the fences and build the buildings and all this, that, and the other. Now, you got to take your time, and besides, you've got to figure out what livestock is better suited for your needs and your land. That's why when I was telling everybody about I'm looking for land, I want to get my own place, all that, this, that, and the other, and they would ask, what are you going to have? I don't know. I've got a horse, okay? Definitely a horse. So I have that. Choosing land, I had her in mind. Everything else, I said, well, it depends on the land. Some land's not suitable for goats. Some land's not suitable for sheep. Some land's not suitable for cattle. Chickens, well, you can do chickens just about anywhere, except for maybe in the swamp. I don't know, maybe there's a breed of chicken that can handle the swamp. But, there's just, I want it to be, the livestock to be appropriate to the land. I've got the land now. Now I can think about the livestock. And I'm hoping that my dad will take pleasure in whatever livestock I get. I know he likes horses and he likes cats. And the cats are going with us. Angel Mittens are going. Mittens will stay an inside cat because I doubt very much she's going to want to go outside. Angel, I may let her out. I don't have to worry about her becoming road pizza. I just worry about her becoming lunch for something. And because she's white with just a little bit of black, she's not going to camouflage very well. So I'm not real sure about her. I'll probably get another barn cat or two. But Angel will be the only other cat that will be allowed in the house. No other cats other than Mittens and Angel will be allowed in the house. I'm not going to go there, especially males. I will never have another male cat in the house. Never. So, but, so that's my plans. And that's taking care of my dad. And hopefully I brought up some topics that if you looking at taking care of an elderly parent, that you've taken that maybe I've brought to the forefront for you to think about. A lot of times you don't think about these things until you're faced with it. And I know I've learned quite a bit since having my dad here. So, well, people, coffee's gone. So I guess that means that the live stream is ended. So have a good day, and I'll see you next Wednesday morning. Lord willing, the creek don't rise, right? Talk to y'all later.